How's it going, everybody? I'm just gonna wait a little while until everybody starts checking in, but I'm in my hotel room right now, just getting ready, prepping myself to be behind the desk. So if you don't know, I will be behind the desk this weekend for UFC 225 for Fox, and it is the best card to be on, to be honest with you. Let me read you off this card. It is pretty amazing, and I had initially asked them to bring me out for this card, and I was hoping that I'd be in Chicago, but we're actually going to be here in studio in the Fox studios. So I'm just hanging out here in my hotel room, kind of going over everything, and I thought it'd be cool to go live and maybe go over some of the fights, some of the hot topics that are trending for this fight, and just get all of your thoughts on your predictions, maybe some of the drama going on between some of the athletes and all that good stuff. So here it is, all right? UFC Fight Pass prelims. We have Mike Santiago versus Dan Ige, and then we have Clay Guida versus Charles Oliveira. We have Joseph Benavidez versus Sergio Pettis, and Rashad Evans versus Anthony Smith. Guys, that's just UFC Fight Pass. That's insane to me. And then on FS1 prelims, we have Rashad Coulter versus Chris De La Roca. We have Ricardo Lamas versus Mirsad Bektik. We have Claudia Gadelha versus Carla Esparza. Alistair Overeem versus Curtis Blades. And that's on FS1, guys. So if you're at all thinking of watching the fights, we have prelims and FS1 to watch, and then we have a humongous main event. So the main event is CM Punk versus Mike Jackson, Andrei Arlovski versus Tai Tuivasa. I hope I'm saying that right. Holly Holm versus now I'm starting to talk Australian. Holm versus Meighan Anderson, Rafael Dos Anjos versus Colby Covington, and then and that is an interim welterweight title bout. So that's going to be a 5-round fight, and then we also have Robert Whittaker, who is the current champ, and versus Yoel Romero, and that's going to be another 5-round fight. So guys, you are definitely going to get your money's worth if you buy that pay-per-view, and I want you guys all to tune in to watch me. I'm going to be doing the I'll be doing the weigh-in show. I'm going to be doing the pre-fight show and the post-fight show. So let's dive into it. First is Mike Santiago versus Dan Ige. And let me go get my papers. So these guys are featherweights. Mike and Dan Ige both were seen on Dana White's Contender Series. No. Is it Dana White's Contender Series? Let me see. 1 second. Alright, I'm back. Alright, so Dana White's Contender Series. Let's see. My pick for this bout is going to be Mike Santiago. His record is 21-11, and although he has quite a few losses, he does have a lot of experience versus Dan Ige, who is 8-2. So my pick is going to Mike Santiago. All right, next we have Clay Guida versus Charles Oliveira. Now, in my opinion, Joseph Benavidez versus Sergio Pettis, Rashad Evans versus Anthony Smith, Clay Guida versus Charles Oliveira. In my opinion, I think those fights could even get on the main event card in replace of CM Punk and Mike Jackson. I would even say, Ricardo Lamas and Mirsad Bektic, Claudia Gadelha versus Carla Esparza, Alistair Overeem versus Curtis Blades. To me, I think those fights as well could go on the main card. What do you think? Anybody? Do you think that CM Punk and Mike Jackson should be on the main event card? I understand that Chicago is CM Punk's hometown, and maybe that might be the reason why they're putting him up on the main card. I think that because he is native to Chicago, that the draw would be the locals going to the actual fight, so it wouldn't matter where on the card they put him. I don't know, that's just my opinion. So back to Clay Guida versus Charles Oliveira. This is going to be a hard one to pick for me, because I think that Clay Guida has kind of gotten a second wind in him. But Charles Oliveira is no pushover either. He's won 9 of his last wins by submission. Clay Guida is kind of a grinder, so gosh, gotta go with Clay Guida. He's a former teammate of mine and a great friend. So, what? CM Punk is out? No way. Are you lying? Are you for real? Ay, ay, ay. That's going to be news to me. Jeez Louise. Yeah, there should be at least 5 or 6 fights that should be in the main before CM's fight. Oliveira wins. Somebody's going for Oliveira. All right, so let's move on to the next one, which is another hard one, because I really like both of these guys. Joseph Benavidez versus Sergio Pettis. Who do you guys have on that card? I think that it's going to be a hard fight to judge for me. I really like both of them. See, Sergio Pettis, 5 first-round finishes, 3 by KO, 3 wins by submission as well. So he's a pretty well-rounded fighter. He's won 4 out of the last 5 of his fights, and he has that Taekwondo black background, just like his brother. Joseph Benavidez, 6 first-round finishes, 6 by KO, 9 wins by submission. He's won 13 of his last 15 fights, so these guys are quite evenly matched, and it's gonna be a toss-up for me. So let's move on to the next one: Rashad Evans versus Anthony Smith. So Anthony Smith has 15 first-round finishes, 16 wins by KO, 10 wins by submission. Holy cow! Finished 26 of 28 wins. Purple belt Jiu-Jitsu. Let's see, former Victory FC middleweight champion. That's a great matchup. And then Rashad, obviously, we all know Rashad's pedigree. He has 8 wins by knockout. 6 of his last 11 wins have gone to TKO. He's a former UFC light heavyweight champion, Division I wrestler. If you guys don't know, Rashad used to train at Jackson Wings, and when I moved out to Albuquerque, he acted like my older brother and looked after me, and so and plus I also feel that he still has a passion to win, so I'm gonna give that fight to Rashad. Alright guys, so there's so many bouts to get through here, so I'm just going to kind of jump to the ones that I'm most interested in, and so I'm going to go to Claudia Gadelha versus Carla Esparza. If you guys have any thoughts on that fight, let me know in the comments below, but in my opinion, I think that Claudia Gadelha is going to win. I think that the fight is more closely matched than a lot of people are anticipating. Carla Esparza's quite a huge underdog, and I think that they both have similar strengths in their grappling and wrestling. Let's see, and see, Homer says Carla's gonna win. Leo says Gadelha is gonna win. Claudia. Claudia is going to steamroll over her. Wow. So, like I said again, Carla is a huge underdog, but I honestly think that they're a lot more closely matched than people realize. But yes, I do think that Claudia is going to win. I have had the opportunity to train with her, and she's quite strong, both in her stand-up and her ground, but where she shines the most, I believe, is top control against cage. And we saw against, in Carla's last fight against Calvillo, that she was a bit taken off guard when Calvillo took her down, and she had a bit of trouble on her back. And Claudia has a really good top position game, so I'm going to give it to Claudia. Alistair Overeem versus Curtis Blaydes. I am going to give it to Alistair. He's a teammate of mine, but I also feel like he is, he has experience over Curtis Blaydes. Curtis Blaydes, obviously very strong, has a great double leg takedown, and so as long as Alistair Overeem can take that weapon away from him, I think that he will be able to secure the win. CM Punk versus Mike Jackson. Now, again, this is very controversial. Oh, we got a lot of people calling for Blaydes. There it is. Blaydes. Okay. Might be onto something different. Blaydes wins by TKO. I'm not taking anything away from Blaydes, but like I said, I think that Overeem's ring experience is going to win him a fight. Here we go. I also think that these guys, heavyweights, it's kind of, their punching power is so, how do I say this? Their punching power really they can win the fight with one punch, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And so with the heavyweights, it really is like who lands the first really, really heavy punch. But Curtis Blaydes really has a great double leg, like I said, and lands it on everybody. So if Alistair can take that away from him, then he's going to secure that win. CM Punk versus Mike Jackson. Guys, what are your thoughts on this fight? Because both men are 0-1 to the same Mickey Gall, and haven't fought in quite some time, and had landed themselves on this main event card. What do you think of that? And also, who do you think is going to win? Like I said, they're both 0-1. Let's see if we have a bit more information on them here. Alright, so Mike Jackson, this is his second professional MMA fight. So he hasn't fought since he fought Mickey Gall. I think that was in 2016, so almost 2 years ago. But he does have an amateur MMA record of 1-0, so he won an amateur record. A pro boxing record of 4-0, which is great because, with that boxing experience, I think it gives us a little bit more insight to who he is as a fighter. He also has a pro kickboxing record of 1-0, so a bit more experience than CM Punk, I would have to say. What CM Punk does have is his WWE championship, and I don't know. Do you give any legitimacy to that? Question mark. What I would say that can help him with is being comfortable under the lights, being comfortable with the media, being comfortable with all the trash talk, although there wasn't much trash talk at all between the two of these guys. And then I guess he has some Kempo karate experience and some training at Duke Rufus Sports and with Henry Gracie. So I'm going to have to give the fight to Mike Jackson. Punk out in 30 seconds. Eek. Do you think this fight deserves to be on the main card? CM Punk is a boss. All right, so we go on to the next main event, which is Andrei Arlovski versus Tai Tuivasa. Did I say that right? I hope I didn't. Gosh, again, these guys are heavyweights, so it's kind of hard to predict what will happen between the two of them, because all it takes with heavyweights is one punch, and that's what Tai Tuivasa's strength is his punching power. Andrei Arlovski, though, since switching over to new camp, has kind of rejuvenated his style and has been able to knock out some wins. So I'm going to have to give the fight to Andrei. I just think that he has more ring experience. Although Tai Tuivasa is undefeated, he's a young up-and-comer. He's going to try to take over Andrei's reign. But Andrei still has some fight in him, and I don't see him going anywhere anytime soon. Alrighty. This is probably one that you guys have all been waiting for. Dun, dun, dun. Holly Holm versus Meighan Anderson. And you guys should all know that Holly is one of my best friends, so I'm going to have to give it to Holly. But with all biases aside, I would still give it to Holly based on a number of different things. Experience both in MMA and just in combat sports in general. Holly has been, training since she was, 16, 17. And she's been doing it for quite a long time. Holly wins with a crazy head kick. Holm will derail hype train. And that's the thing about Meighan Anderson. We really don't know much about her, besides the fact that this is her UFC debut. She is a true 145er. She's 6 foot tall, walks around probably, I forgot what she says, 165, 175 pounds. Definitely an Amazon woman, but she has 4 wins by KO, 2 by submission. She's on a 4-fight win streak. She was the Invicta FC featherweight champion. And there's a lot to be said about being a champion. But with that being said, I think that Meighan hasn't fought the caliber of fighters that Holly has. And although Holly has lost to some of these women, they've been really close fights, and they've been against high-level opponents such as Cyborg and Jermaine. And I think that Holly knows what it feels like to take a hit from a true 145er, and she's shown that she can go all 5, and I think that she's learned a lot through her losses and will take home the victory. What do you guys think? Any predictions? How are the fights going to end up? No? Nobody? I saw no way to Meighan won this fight. Let's see. I don't know, but somebody's asking, Poppy's asking, Cyborg versus Nunes, who wins? I just think Cyborg has a size on her. Let's see, Meighan by submission. Holly will hit her with a head kick KO. Let's see, Double H. Let's go, Holly, all rounds. Okay, so Anderson puts up a good fight. Decision for Holly. Meighan Anderson for the win. Wow, so it's pretty tossed up here, guys. Holly wins a war. Win for Anderson. Let's see. Holm gets a KO. Let's see. Holly wins with a kick. Holly with a body shot. Okay. Or question mark kick. I like that. All right. So, moving on. We got the ever so controversial Colby Covington versus Rafael dos Anjos. And I think when it comes to hype and buzz about the fight, this is really the fight that everybody has been buzzing and talking about, or maybe not so much the fight, but so much of the of the fighters. Colby Covington obviously talking mad crap about Rafael dos Anjos, or how he would refer to him as Rafi. What does he call him? Rafi dos Nachos? He's crazy. But, you know, he's really, really pushing a lot of people's buttons, talking about the Brazilians, talking about Rafael dos Anjos. I just watched the video of him squaring up with Rafael, and he was still talking stuff to his face right there. And let's see, can't wait for RDA to beat this guy. He looks so scared in his Ariel Helwani interview. Do you think that his trash talk is a ploy to get media, or is that really who he is? Let's see here. Colby by ground and pound, round 4. Rafael will win. With he is well rounded. Rafael is on fire right now, and I agree. You know, I feel like for a while, you know, RDA was struggling at 155. As a man, when you begin to grow into your man body, if that's actually a thing, you can't cut that weight anymore. So I think moving up was a great choice for him, and he's been doing great in this new division. He's shown that he can take punches from power punchers, beating Robbie Lawler, who is known for those heavy hits. So although Colby Covington has been on a tear in the UFC and is, you know, an All-American wrestler, I still don't think he has what it takes to beat RDA. I feel like he might have bitten off a bit more than he can chew, and I guess we'll all see come Saturday. And finally, last but not least, Yoel Romero versus Robert Whittaker for the rematch, and again for the middleweight championship title. Robert Whittaker hasn't fought since he fought Yoel. Yoel has fought Luke Rockhold and was able to secure that victory. And this is a rematch, so both guys know what the other feels like, and I you know, how I like to explain that is, you know, there is that element of the unknown. Of course, you can study tape on your opponents, you can study what they do, study who they train with, study who their coaches are, but there's something to be said about just actually getting into the cage with them and feeling what their body feels like, if they hit hard, if they have good pressure against the cage, if they have good top position, if they are really squirmy on the bottom, do they have good hip mobility? So both of these guys know how each other feels. So that can be to a benefit or not. I think that it benefits Yoel because he knows how Whittaker feels and he knows what he needs to do differently, and it benefits Whittaker because he can try to stick to the same game plan, except for this time around he's going to be a more healthy fighter. I'd like to see, in my opinion, I think Whittaker's going to win. I think that his footwork and his fight IQ gives him the ability to gauge when Yoel is going to explode forward, and that's one of Yoel's strong points is his explosive movement. And if that is taken away from him, then it really does take away one of his power moves. Want Whittaker? Let's see. Grind Time says I want Whittaker to win, but I sense an upset for Yoel for the W. Yeah, he's definitely very confident coming into this fight. He's a smart fighter as well. He's only lost to Whittaker this one time, and so he's looking to get that W back, huh? see. I think since a lot of fighters miss weight, Dana is rewarding those who miss weight. Oh, now we're going to talk about the weight cut issue. And I mean, it's a huge issue, huh? Yeah, I don't think the fighter should be rewarded for missing weight at all. I don't think that they should change the new rule of morning weigh-ins. I think it's great. It allows a fighter to cut weight, weigh in, and rehydrate when they need to. There's only a couple things you have to do as a fighter. And if you miss weight, you're basically breaching your contract. So I agree with Ricardo Lamas in his interview with Ariel in saying that there needs to be punishment on those fighters that don't make weight. They need to be either fined or taken. Basically how he put it is, you know, they didn't show up to make the weight, so they shouldn't get their show money. If they want to make any money, they have to win, and then there should be some type of suspension or something giving them like maybe a warning and maybe telling them that they're having to move up to the next weight class. That once I lost 9 pounds in 3 days without dehydrating, but I did eat a lot less. Yeah, so here's the thing, guys, about weigh-ins. Like, as a professional fighter, cutting weight is something that you need to learn how to do, and you need to learn how to do it in a healthy manner. So you can't use different things as an excuse. Obviously, there are going to be complications, especially as a woman. I mean, there are complications no matter what. There could be you can have personal issues in your life. There could be medical issues, but you signed the contract to make the weight, so make the weight. You know, it's not like you have, it's kind of like, it's like studying for a test. If you wait until the very last minute, it's not going to be a good outcome. As a fighter, you usually have anywhere between 6 and 10 weeks of a fight camp. That should be more than enough time to diet down in a healthy way and only have a small percentage of water weight to cut once you hit fight week. And if you can't do that, then you shouldn't be competing at a high level such as UFC. And that's just my opinion. I never cut weight for any martial arts events. It was always based off of your age and your belt. And it wasn't until I became, I started fighting kickboxing smokers that I had to cut weight. And at that time, it was a 7-pound discrepancy. So I could fight somebody, I could not cut weight at all and step on the scale at 115 and fight somebody who's cut down to 122. And it was still on because it was an amateur fight. Let's see. I have a question here. I think fighters should weigh in morning of the fight. No weight, unhealthy weight cuts. Move up the weight class and fight closer to what you walk around at. That's your opinion. Okay, Pockets Rockets. That's his opinion. Let's hear what else people got to say. I'm not in Chicago right now. I'm actually in LA. I'm going to be behind the desk for UFC 220 or 225. I'm going to be behind the desk with Kenny Florian and Michael Bisping and Karen Bryant. Let's hear. What do you think about CM Punk status? I just want to see him prove himself as a fighter. I don't think it's fair to some of the other fighters that have put in the time to try to get that spotlight on a main event card. But at the end of the day, a fight's a fight no matter where you're at on the card. And I don't know. I mean, that's just my opinion on it. I think that I know that he's from Chicago, so that might be another reason why they're putting him on the main event card. But if he's there, it shouldn't matter where he's at on the card because he's going to be a draw locally, I guess. So, alright guys, well, I just wanted to quickly go over the fight card. It's an amazing card. I know I didn't talk much about technique and who's going to win and why. But we're saving all of that for pre-fight show. So make sure you tune in to Fox to see me, Kenny Florian, Michael Bisping, Karen Bryant, to talk about UFC 225. See you guys later.